everyone. My team is called Bytes and our application is called Speakeasy. It is a AI language translator application. So in our agenda, we'll have a Sprint Zero recap, which includes the team roles and responsibilities, improvements, project description, team working agreement, and personas. Then we'll have project overview, which includes the MVP, languages and tools, algorithms, diagrams. After we'll have the backlogs, which includes the user stories, acceptance criteria, sprint one stories, test cases, story completion. And after we'll have the team metrics, which includes the team velocity, burn down charge retrospective, and then the products, which has sprint two stories, application screenshots, API, and the live application demo. So in the team roles and responsibilities, we have our team leader and developer, who is Rakesh Tirumala. Then we have the Scrum Master and developer, Tanvi Gavali. And then we have me, the test and product designer, Callie Lavelle. We have developer Steve Sinfleur, developer Venkat Palapu, and then developer Pavan Polireddy. The improvements we made from the last presentation were on the team roles and responsibilities page. We updated the developers' roles and made it more specific. On the project description page, we added the project description chart. We expanded on the DoD for the team working agreement. We added an MVP DoD aside from the release DoD. Then we added small milestones for the project to the deadline dates on the sprint schedule. For the technologies, we specified the names under the technologies we plan to use. And for the wiki page, we added an email link for team members. And then we added the MP4 downloadable videos. And we attached the files to the repository.
Hello everyone. I will be talking about my team's project. So firstly, for any project, the first thing would be understanding, or stating the purpose of doing that project. So I will be addressing the problem which convinced my team to create a solution for it. So understanding a foreign language is always a challenge because because every language has its own nuances and meanings, and without proper understanding of that language, it is impossible for a person to communicate with the native speaker of that language, and it is also impossible for a person to master every single language. Therefore, in order to address this, my team wanted to build an application that can create a transcription of an audio in the required user's required language.
As you can see here, we have the project description chart, which describes our project in more detail. So we have the project name called Speakeasy, the team name called Bytes, and the project description. So for users who need to communicate across different languages, the AI-powered transcription and translation application is a seamless solution that converts audio into multilingual text that enables users to understand conversations effortlessly, regardless of language barriers. So unlike current tools that may require manual translation or lack real-time accuracy, our application integrates advanced AI models to provide precise and real-time transcription and translation, which will improve cross-language communication efficiency across cultures and regions. So the outcome, the benefits will be there will be better communication and easy accessibility, and you can find our GitHub link attached. So for our team working agreement, we have separated it into different sections. So for communication, the team will communicate through Zoom and WhatsApp. We'll use Google Docs for notes and discussing ideas between each other. If a team member isn't able to join a Zoom meeting, they should let the team know in advance so that we can reschedule so that everyone can join. Team members are required to provide regular updates on task projects and promptly communicate any obstacles or delays to the group. Team members are encouraged to participate in discussions, providing feedback and support as needed. And all team members should listen carefully, speak clearly, and stay on topic to avoid confusion. Team members should complete all assigned work before the deadline, and if someone is struggling, they should reach out to the group. Another section is on work division and participation. So Jira and GitHub will be used to track and divide all tasks. The entire project should be divided into equal parts, and all team members should be given equal responsibility. If a team member is not participating to the level of the other members, then the team leader will be permitted to assign necessary tasks to the member. Each team member is responsible for their assigned task and their contribution to the overall success of the project. So this section describes the meetings in more detail. So every Sunday we'll meet at 2 p.m. and every Thursday we'll meet at 5:30 p.m. via Zoom. Of course, as we said before, if a team member is unable to attend the meeting, they should let the team know so that we can, give them the resources they need, such as either giving them a summary of what happened during the meeting or just rescheduling the meeting if the meeting is important that everyone should be there. So the meeting will commence and conclude on time, and all team members are required to have their Zoom cameras on. And the team will agree to follow agile practices throughout the project. So before each sprint, we'll meet up, and after each sprint, we'll meet up as well, just to gather feedback and just reflect. This section describes respect and professionalism. So all communication and interaction will be conducted with respect. Diverse viewpoints and input should be appreciated. Feedback should be constructive and centered on the project and not on personal traits. If a member disagrees with a decision, they can request a review at the next team meeting, and the team aims to create a welcoming space where everyone can feel comfortable sharing their ideas. So this is part of our improvements. I forgot to mention before, when we have not edited a slide, we will have this pin on the top right corner to show that the slide is the same from the last presentation. And the slides without it means that we have made edits to it. So this is the release DoD, the definition of done for the release of the application. So the translation and transcription feature works as intended and meets all acceptance criteria and requirements. The app successfully translates text between the specified languages without errors. The app successfully transcribes speech to text. Code have been reviewed and approved by all team members. The app has been manually tested for usability and performance. The codes are documented with comments and where necessary. The user guide and technical documentation have been updated accordingly. The app is deployable and runs without issues. And the app contains all necessary features required for the MVP. So this is the MVP DoD for the language translation application. So the application should be able to transcribe the given audio into text without error. The application can successfully translate the transcribed audio to the specified language without errors. The user is able to upload or delete an audio file to the application without errors. Codes have been reviewed and approved by all team members. The app has been manually tested for usability and performance, and the codes are documented with comments where necessary. So as you can see, all of the team members in my group, we have signed the team working agreement to say that we agree with all of the terms in the team working agreement, and we hope to abide by them going forward.
So we have three personas for this project. Jose Rodriguez, who is a docks worker. He is a 53-aged male living in Louisiana, USA, with a high school diploma, working as a docks worker for 15 plus years, has a forklift license and managing, handling, and securing cargo using forklift. He's known to be an excellent team leader, is organized, and physically capable. Now, Jose is originally from Mexico, but has relocated to the US for better working opportunities for his children. He can understand very little English, as most of his coworkers also speak Spanish, so he did not feel the need to learn English over time. During his old age, now he is starting to have frequent medical visits to the doctors, where they speak in English with him, and he finds it hard to understand. Now, he doesn't want to burden his children, and also wants to retain like the confidentiality with the doctor and himself. But it is also expensive for him to hire a professional translator, which is beyond his budget. So Jose is looking for an application where he can converse with the doctor without any communication hindrances, and can keep transcripts as part of his medical records so that he can look back and read them in case he doesn't understood anything. Now, let's go to our next persona. That's Anjali Chitri. She's a lawyer, 27-year-old female living in Edinburgh, UK. Have an education in LLM in international law and been working for a company for 4+ years. Now she is skilled in conducting in-depth research regarding international legal issues, good at explaining legal concepts and mediating in legal cases, professional, showcasing confidence and problem-solving skills. So Anjali's job is to provide legal advice to multinational corporations and comply with different regulations in both UK and Swedish subsidiaries. But she does not want to disclose the business information and legal strategies to a third party. So Anjali would like an application which can transcribe and translate discussion during meetings without breaching confidentiality or having to create further confidentiality agreements with any translators.
Next, we have Nicole Schuler, who is an executive administrative assistant. She's 27 years old, a female, and originally from New York, but relocated to Canada for work. She has a bachelor's of business administration and only 1 year of experience. She's professional in Excel, Microsoft Office, Outlook, Google Workspace, and is a certified administrative professional. So Nicole, as I've stated before, Nicole is originally from New York but has relocated to Canada for work. She has to attend daily meetings and transcribe the meetings for her higher-ups. Some of her co-workers switch between French and English, which frustrates her because her native language is English and she has no experience with French. So Nicole is looking for an application that can help her efficiently transcribe the meetings and also translate the French terms into English terms. So this is our MVP design. This is our brainstorming design. So as you can see, we have the language selections over here. So you can choose the original language that the audio is in, and then the language that you hope to translate it into. And you can also swap the languages using this icon. You can upload an audio file or record audio to the application, and then the audio will be transcribed and then translated. So both the transcribed and translated text should be presented to the screen. We have the volume buttons, so you can hear your audio. And we also have the volume button here, so you can hear your translated text into the language that you translated it into. This is a favorites button here, which will be added to your profile. So this is your profile here. And once you click the profile icon, you can sign in with your username and password. These icons right here will take you to the settings page, which is over here. And the settings page contains the history. The history will also be connected to your profile. So the history contains all of the transcribed and translated text that you've translated or transcribed before. And then you can change the theme into light or dark mode. The text size, you can make it bigger or smaller, and the volume, you can make it louder or softer. We have the copy and download buttons here, so you can copy and download the text. These are the technologies we plan to use with our application. So the programming languages and frameworks are HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. The libraries are Bytes, Hugging Face, Material UI, Tailwind, CSS. And the tools will be GitHub, VS Code, Figma, and Jira. And the deployment we will use is a Firebase deployment.
Now, coming to the main component of this application, the algorithm. So, our application should be able to take audio as an input and or create an transcription as an output in the desired language. So, in order to achieve this, we need an AI model that can perform automatic speech recognition and speech translation. And in order to do this, we will be making use of a transformer. So what exactly is a transformer? So a transformer is a neural network that uh, that is designed to process sequential data. So it could be helpful in NLP tasks. And usually a transformer make uses of an encoder and a decoder structure. Uh, but they also make use of an additional element known as the attention mechanism, which which helps the algorithm to identify the relationships in the sequence. And unlike RNNs, the transformers process data in parallel, hence they are faster and more scalable. Now, since I mentioned about encoder-decoder structure, let me explain about that. So an encoder-decoder structure is a deep learning concept where the encoder plays the part of processing the input data, while the decoder accepts the encodings generated by the encoder and uses the derived context to generate the output sequence. So that's what an encoder-decoder structure means. And in our algorithm in this application, we will be making use of Whisper, which is a transformer which has been trained on 860K hours of audio labeled data. And this model is capable of performing both speech recognition and speech translation.
Hello everyone. I will be covering about the context diagram, architecture diagram, and sequence diagram for getting a proper understanding about the application. Uh, Coming to the first diagram, context diagram, the main functionality of the application is to accept an audio input and process it. An AI model accepts the audio input and process it, analyzes it, and returns the translation of the given input audio into the desired output language transcription in the desired output language. Yeah, and moving to the architecture diagram, as you can see here, we have front-end server database as well as a third party as well, with which we will be interacting with the AI model. Now, on the front end, we will be using React, and the application will be accessible from both from any device, uh, and on the server side, we will be using Express.js, and we will be interacting with Firebase, and also we will be using a third-party uh, API for interacting with the AI model. The user can upload an audio input, and the server will take it and save it in the database for later use and feed the input audio to the AI model. The AI model analyzes it and returns the translation of the input audio into the desired language. And the server will return the output transcription to the user interface. That would be the architecture diagram. And let me explain the sequence diagram. Okay, so as you can see, as a as soon as the user logins into the application, the user will be able to upload an audio or else record an audio and feed that audio and upload that audio to the application. The application will accept that audio, convert, feed that AI model, feed it to the AI model. The AI model first creates a transcription of the given audio into the given language, and then the AI model will translate it into the desired language, and then returns the transcription of that uh, output language into to the user interface. So that's all for the sequence diagram, architecture diagram, and context diagram. I hope everyone understood it. Thank you.
Hey, hi. Like I'm explaining in the state diagram, like we have user, like user can upload the document of the MP3 file and WAV file, and he can directly record an audio. Like these two files will be going through the AI model processing, and it will be transcript audio, and the transcript audio will be uh, visible to the user. Like he can select the language, like what language he wants to be translated, then the translated language and the transcript audio will be sent to the AI model to process the transcript text. Then the transcript text, I mean translation, can be seen by the user can see the translation of the text which has been selected. Now we are seeing like a class diagram. We have three tables. One is user, and another one is in history, and another one is like favorite. In user, like we'll have the user ID, name, email, and the password. Like user ID will be an foreign key, and favorite comes also having the user ID and the history ID. These both will be becoming like foreign key and the primary key. And history table contains like history ID, user ID, input, source language, and the destination language, output, and created at data. The user and history has only one-to-one relation, and user will be referring to the favorite will be referring to the history. This is the class diagram of the database of our project, and this is the year diagram. And here user contains like user ID, password, name, and the email, and the favorite also contains user ID and history ID, and history contains like history ID, user ID, created at input, source language, destination language, and output. And history and the user ID are the both. History is foreign key, history is primary key, and the user ID is like foreign key. And in user, like user ID will be having the foreign primary key, and in favorite, like we'll be having user ID as primary key and foreign key, history as primary key and foreign key. Where user to history, like we'll have one to many, like user can make the favorite items like many, right? So user to favorite will be having one to many relationships, and the favorite to the history will be having only one to one relationship, because like from favorite will be only one, right? So it will be like one to one history, and the user to history, like it will be many, one to many, like one user can have many histories. So we'll be having one to many histories. So this is the year diagram of our project. Thank you.
These are the list of user stories that we identified and created as part of our product backlog to deliver this project. Uh, and these are the list of the stories that we identified as priority stories to be part of our MVP release. And we moved it from backlog to sprint one to deliver for the MVP. And these are the test cases for the sprint one stories we identified to test the functionality. And this is the list of sprint one stories completed by the team. And we as a team were able to complete all the stories that has been pulled to sprint one. So we don't have any incomplete stories for the sprint one. And the team velocity looks like something like this, like we committed for 42 story points and we were able to successfully deliver all the points as part of our sprint one. And burndown chart looks something like this, where we were able to complete all the stories by the end of sprint.
Hi, so this retrospective we completed with 31 cards in total. All 6 of the team members were present with 4 action items created. So we came up with 2 cards which went well and 8 cards that needs to be improved. What went well was Callie continuing to make agendas before meeting, which was our previous action item for the retrospective. Shout out to Venkat and Steve for taking initiation in the task. And what needs to be improved was the application needs a lot of improvement, needs more communication and collaboration, and demonstration of code with code review sessions. The action item we thought of was to have a sprint planning right after our Friday presentation and have more icebreaker and be more active in the group chat rather than texting privately, and make sure that the review and the feedback is on each work is done on the same day, and also to discuss the code that has been implemented from the last meeting. The timeline for this sprint was divided into 4 phases. One was design. It started with design, where we designed a prototype in Figma. Followed by front end, where we added the basic front end functionalities to accommodate the back end, where we added the transcription functionality with the Hugging Face model and tested and debugged. And then at the end, the deliverable, which is the submissions for this sprint one. So our project schedule looks over the semester looks something like this, where we started with sprint 0, just researching topics and coming with a project idea, to sprint 1, the current one, where we focused on getting the basic front-end functionalities and hoping to get translation from an MP3 audio file and sprint planning. And then followed by sprint 2, where we are thinking to implement Tailwind CSS and make the web responsive and get translation from the transcribed text. And the very last sprint, where we are hoping to implement the microphone recording functionality and sign-in options so that the users can download and store their translated versions. Now, this will be our sprint 2 user stories for our next upcoming sprint. We would be focusing on file size limitation and having error messages for unsupported file types. Then we would also be focusing on microphone button functionality so that we can voice input when we click on the microphone. Also, we'll be focusing on translating the audio input and adding time limitations and able to copy translated text.
So this is a screenshot of our application. This is what we have developed so far. So right now we have the sign-in option. It's only UI focused, so it's not fully functional right now. When you click the button, all you'll see is the username and password. You are able to drag and drop or upload an MP3 or WAV file. So like when you drag and drop or when you click upload, you are able to add a file, because the function will open up your file explorer, and it will only give you the option for an MP3 or WAV file. And then once you attach it, then you should see your file name on the screen. And this will all be shown in the demo coming up soon. So once you have attached your audio file and you see your file name, you will be able to delete or remove the file. But if you don't do that, then you can just click transcribe. When you click transcribe, it will redirect you to another page where it will show you the transcribed text in this text box right here. So as you can see, we had a test which said testing 1, 2, 3. So this is the transcribed text, and our translated text will be in this text box right here. So you later on you'll be able to select the language and then click translate, and it will translate the transcribed text into whatever language you choose. We have the copy transcribed text and copy translated text icons, and they are fully functional. So once you click those buttons, it will copy the text to clipboard and you can paste it anywhere you like.
Hi, I'm going to quickly explain the transcription pipeline that we created to convert speech into text. So the code we are looking at right now is built using a popular model called Whisper from OpenAI. And the idea is to automatically recognize what someone says and turn it into written words. So the pipeline gonna act like a smart listener that understands speech and transcribes it. So it's gonna make it very useful for tasks like voice commands or subtitles. So let's quickly break down the code. First, we import the tools we need, and then the third line tells the code not to use local models, but to fetch models from somewhere else. And then that class, my transcription pipeline class, is responsible for creating and managing the pipeline that turns speech into text. And then that get instance function is just to check if the pipeline has already been created. If not, it's created. And then the last thing is just this part of code just sets up an event listener to respond to incoming messages, specifically listening for a message that contains audio data, and then triggers the transcription process. Okay, that's it for the pipelines.
So we will be showing you our first demo or demonstration. I will share my screen now. Yeah, so as you guys can see, I'm in Visual Studio Code, and I will show you how to launch the application, and then I will show you the application. So first, we're changing directory into the folder. You guys can see I did CD code and CD speakeasy because we're changing directory into the location in which the file is located. Then I'm going to do npm install, and then npm I add Zenova transformers. Just to, install the necessary packages to help run the program. And now I will launch it with npm run dev. Okay, so I'm going to copy the path here. And I'm going to run it in incognito. Tanvi will explain why we run it in incognito.
Right. So we want this in incognito because while we are communicating with the transformer model, we have to make sure that there are no browser cache history or cache in general or any cookies that can affect the model. So that can give you some errors. So either you clean out your cache history or your cookies, or you just open it in incognito, and that works perfectly fine.
All right. Thank you, Tanvi. So now I will continue on to the demo. So as you can see, we have our logo and the sign-in option. We just have the UI component for it. We will focus on the details for signing in within the future sprint. So you can drag or upload an MP3 or WAV file. So when you click upload, it opens up your file explorer. And the good thing is that when you open up your file explorer, it only allows the use of an MP3 or .wav. If you search through the other folders, you won't see any other like file extensions. Like it doesn't give you the option to select those. It only gives you the option to select an MP3 or .wav file. So when you click this file, it opens. And you could click this X to delete it. So I'll show you. Once you click it, the file is removed and you don't see the file name on screen. And so I'm going to re-upload it. Click attach the MP3, open. And as you can see, the MP3 file is attached and you can see the file name. Now I will click transcribe. And when you click transcribe, it should redirect you to a new screen that will show you the transcription. It does take a while. Here we are, okay? So as you can see, this is the transcribed text. It says testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, and that was what I said in the audio. And so far you can select the language. So we have like different others, you know, like Dutch and stuff. And then you have a copy transcribed text and copy translated text. And so when you click this, as you can see right here, it says text copied to clipboard, okay? And I will demonstrate. Let me get my text editor. So I'll type, well, actually I'll just do it here. Click paste. And as you can see, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. So the copy icons are working successfully.
So I'll give a quick review of what the code is doing currently. So in our main file, we are taking in the audio, and then we have a worker which does the communication between the transformer, the whisper model, and the application. And we are making sure that we get a status from if it's been successfully communicating. And once we get the file input, it converts it into an array buffer, and then it decodes that to make it into an audio data. Then we take this audio data and we go through the whisper model. That's where we are using the Zenova transformer. As you saw, Callie in the very start installed npmi@zenova/transformer to before running the application. So this is where it's creating a pipeline for between our web browser and the Hugging Face library. The Whisper model has an algorithm inside called beam search algorithm, which decodes the audio data and then generates multiple beams. Beams basically means like multiple possibilities of what the audio might be, and it gets the best possible output. And then it decodes the automatic speech recognition chunks and processes it to at the end. That's how we get the result message. So at the end, we get processed chunks from the audio data by going it through the audio file. But yeah, this is like the basics of our transcriptions.
Stay tuned because in the next sprint, we plan to work on translation. So the transcribed text that you do see on screen, you will be able to translate it into any language that you like. And then we hope to improve on UI and add additional features to the application. So as you can see, we have our wiki page link attached. In the wiki page, you can find all of our project details, all of our recordings, all of our presentations, etc. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our presentation video. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us. It's right on the wiki page. Just click that link, and once you send an email, every single one of us will receive.